Hey, kia ora, welcome to this week's video. It's the last day of term, and like every year at Wellington College, we've just had our Anzac Assembly, and I'm delighted to have Laura here. Laura is the British High Commissioner to New Zealand. Thanks so much for being at our assembly today, and also for staying behind to do this video for our parents. We didn't want you to miss out on the content of the sorts of things that Laura spoke about. But the Assembly has some traditions. I was thinking, would it feel like Remembrance Day in the UK? Or?
Yeah, a bit like that. It's lovely. I think it's really important to have those moments of formality, isn't it, actually? So it was lovely.
Yeah, so it's it's sort of an assembly where we don't tend to applaud. It's
exactly.
And wreaths were laid. We said, traditional school prayers and ode and things like that. And I think from our point of view, one of the things we can do as schools is offer a sense of belonging, a sense that you're part of something bigger than yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that was a sort of a theme that you picked up in your speech because you were sort of contrasting masculinity sort of then and now.
Yeah, exactly. So I wanted to look at what it was to be a man in World War I and what the societal expectations were of men then, when you had to be prepared to go out to war, because when war was a fact of life. And then I came forward and talked about what it's like to be a man or a young man now in the different contexts that we're operating in. And, they're very, very different, actually. And so now there's a lot more space, I suppose, for people to be themselves. And there's less structure and there's less in terms of rigid societal expectations. So I was talking about how you navigate that and what an evolving masculinity looks like, really.
And what does that look like from your perspective?
I mean, I think the importance now is for people to be able to be themselves, to be true to themselves, not conform to some sort of mould that others set for them. That it's really important that we think of traits such as compassion, kindness, empathy, vulnerability, all of those, we don't think of those as female traits, but of just the traits of successful people who are successful socially and also in their career. So I also talked a bit about Prime Minister Ardern and how she leads with such emotion and vulnerability. And I said, that's not about female leadership, that's successful leadership. And so I was trying to get at that sense of masculinity now and there being greater space for vulnerability.
Yeah. It's not easy being a young man, is it?
No, exactly. Yeah, it's not easy, and the statistics show that. There are big problems of mental health in New Zealand, and I think that's partly because as those structures are less, things are more complex, and it's harder to navigate, and so and the roles that we use that used to be set out very clearly for us are actually much less strong, so you have to navigate it yourself, and that's tricky.
It was really nice how you made some connections with Wellington College in England. We had 222 old boys from Wellington College die in the First World War, but you said Wellington College in England had 700.
It has 700 on its World War I Roll Call of Honour, and I think that makes it one of the schools in the UK that had the most number of World War I casualties. It's kind of extraordinary, and it's extraordinary now for us to imagine that, whether it's the young boys thinking about being conscripted or whether it's as parents thinking about sending our children off, and so we're just living in a totally different world, and that's in large part thanks to the sacrifices of those who went before us.
Awesome. Laura, thanks so much for being with us. It was fantastic to hear you speaking in such an inspiring way about that and connecting the past and the present in such a meaningful way for our boys. So thank you so much, and thank to you parents for your awesome support of Wellington College this term. If you're getting a break, we hope that you have a great time with family and friends, and if you're and otherwise, either way, we look forward to having our students back with us on the 29th of April for what will no doubt be another busy term. So ka kite, have a great weekend. Bye bye.
Kia ora.